Hello and welcome to... Dang it. Hello and welcome to Tangent Waves. This is going to be a new segment where I dive into my least favorite albums and see why I hate them so much. And I figured the best way to start this is by looking at an album from my least favorite band back in 2012 and 2013 and 2014 and basically every year since then. Anyway, that band is Maroon 5. And the album that we are going to be looking at is their 2012 magnum opus of suckage, Overepxosed. But before we do that, I want to add some thematic flair to this video. That's overdoing it a little bit. Fine. So, let's start right off with the main reason I hate Maroon 5, and thus this album. And it is Adam Levine's voice. His voice resonates in weird areas of the audio spectrum. Of course, you have the high frequency that he's famous for, but he's also pretty good at having these bassy undertones and harmonies. The problem is there's this awkward middle ground that it doesn't really cover, so the overtones cut into it, creating a piercing and shrill sound to his voice. It just makes me tense to listen to, and it's overall unenjoyable. It also sounds like he has a big, large, furry animal shoved down his throat the entire time he's singing. Look, to explain how bad this is, I am now going to do an impression of me singing one of his songs with a bunch of socks in my mouth, because I think this is probably how he warms up. There was no universe where that was a good idea. So instead, I'm just going to highlight every spot in the album that makes me want to rip out Adam Levine's vocal cords. Okay, like 3% of the spots on the album, but like this is like the worst 3%. So I'm cherry picking. That was only the first 4 songs out of 12. I would play more, but that was going on for a while, and I think you get my point. Lyrically, this album has 3 topics of discussion. The first is Adam Levine being a sex-crazed maniac. The second is Adam Levine having sex for one last time before leaving the woman in the morning forever. And the third is Adam Levine watching as every woman he's ever known leaves him. Now, he's probably asking himself, what did I ever do to deserve this? Completely unaware that the first 2 things he sings about were probably major reasons as to why everyone is leaving him. Food for thought. Now it's time for the real juice of the album, the instrumentals and the song structure and all that other musical nonsense. The first is this faux gospel music sound, where it sounds like they went to a Christian rock recording studio and dumpster dove until they found some sheet music. They ripped off these uplifting chord progressions to trick the casual listener into thinking that their music is inspiring or powerful or something like that. But if you actually pay attention, you realize that it's not anything special. After that, they replaced the piano and strings with synthesizers because it can't sound out of place on pop radio, and they added some generic drum beats. Bam! New hit. The second type of song on this album are the dance songs. The instrumentals themselves are okay, but the melodies are really nothing to write home about. And that's for a reason that you've probably never heard any of these songs before. There are dance songs out there that are much catchier and don't have Adam Levine as a singer, so there's really no point to listen to any of these. The lack of effort on these hooks is most apparent in the song Fortune Teller, which, despite barely being on the second half of the album, has to rip off 2 earlier songs.
I don't know why you're acting like this. I really wanna love somebody. Don't worry about tomorrow's mess. She's such a lady killer.
Now that's it for the album in general, but before I finish, I would like to look at some specific songs. These are quite possibly the worst songs on the album, and they don't really fit the mold of what I've mentioned. These songs are the type of suck that make you look around your sex dungeon and go, wow, that's clean.
You and
One More Night is possibly the worst reggae song I have ever heard. It takes this reggae style, but recreates it with a bunch of electronics and synthesizers. And you know, I'm not against that if they use this transformation as an excuse to miss out on the heart and soul of reggae. That being the groove. The drums play this bland dance beat and there's no bass line, instead opting for a bunch of phasers and sound effects that play every few measures. Eventually the bass does get a little bit more prominence, but it only follows a synthesizer line, which shares a melody with the opening vocal pattern. It's really a shame to see Maroon 5 rip apart a genre best known for bass grooves and shove the bass to a back burner. There are also a few more songs in this album I felt have similar problems, where they should be funky and gritty, but they just aren't. They just don't have an adequate bass line, which is ironic because fans of pre-sellout Maroon 5 normally cite the bass lines and the funk as the best parts of the album. Maroon 5 are a band that shouldn't have made this mistake, but here we are. Up next is the piano ballad.
It's about how sad I am, and I'm really sad, and it's called Sad.
I'm serious. In this song, Adam Levine sings and mopes about how he's said the wrong things and how she's never coming back with as much detail as you would expect from a song named Sad. The last song on the album is called Beautiful Goodbye. It's honestly not terrible, but I'm bringing it up because it sounds louder than the rest of the songs on the album, which is weird when it's definitely supposed to be a laid-back and chill song. Too bad it's hard to relax when the drums are twice as loud as everything else in the song. I think that this is an attempt to hide how little is going on in the song, as if a relaxing song like this needs a billion layers to be interesting, when it's honestly fine with just the four it has. It just comes across as Maroon 5 and the producers completely missing the point of the song that they wrote. If I have to say anything positive about this album though, I'm going to point to the song Love Somebody. It's fine for dancing, and Levine isn't as annoying as he is everywhere else on the album, so it's actually a listenable song. This is one of the worst albums I've listened to, thus it's why I chose it as the first album for me to review in this series, but trust me, if I continue, I'm probably going to find worse. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and download this video on your school's old Windows 98 computer during recess so that your entire class can see what a wonderful guy I am. Now go listen to some Fall Out Boy or something.